Just for Us, it came out a year and a half ago, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Having performed this show so many times, seeing someone else perform the show, seeing the reaction to it being on HBO, what would be the most surprising reaction you've received about the show? Or this person gets it in a way that I don't even get it.
It's on airplanes now.
Oh, that's cool.
So I'm getting random messages. And when I say random messages, they're truly random.
We're going
messages.
Down.
Yeah.
Call the police.
Your show was the last thing I saw
before landing in Newark.
I bought Wi-Fi to tell you that if this is the last thing I see in turbulence, I hate it.
You're in the reboot of The Office, which comes out in September.
Yeah.
You're a writer and performer on that. You wrote a movie. I don't know if it's announced, but I know you wrote a movie.
Yeah.
That'll probably get made sometime soon. And you're touring a new hour, and you're doing God knows what else. It's like, how do you prioritize all these projects?
Stand-up gets discrete moments in my life where it's like the break from everything else. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's as big as like I don't know where this analogy comes from, but there's like a glass and you fill it with rocks, and then you fill it with pebbles, and then you fill it with sand. And so like sometimes stand-up is the rock, and sometimes it's the pebbles, and in really bad times it's the sand. Mm-hmm. But like I'll always be a stand-up comic, and I like to get to comedy clubs or theaters a couple of hours early, because the deadline of a show that you have to do means that I'm definitely putting in time on it. But like, yeah, I really prioritize my my stand-up when I don't have a full-time job. So when I was on The Office, that was time away from stand-up pretty much, which is hard actually.
Yeah.
Because I've been doing it for so long, but I also wanted a break to think maybe I could incubate something.
Yeah.
And same with a movie. When I was writing the movie, I went away to like a very rural area where there was no stand-up, so I could like focus on the movie.
Terre Haute, Indiana?
Yeah, of course. You got Larry Bird on the brain, don't you? I could see the I am not Larry Bird index card over there. And I'm like, oh, French lick too niche, But,
I'm all about that Celtic City documentary.
Oh, I haven't seen all of it, but I love it.
It's a beauty.
But yeah, stand-up's a thing. I work on each thing discreetly. And also sometimes I don't really have like an approach or a practice. Like I spent 3 weeks in or 2.5 weeks in Japan last month.
Wow.
And I was just walking in this rural area, and I'm not working on anything there.
Wait, hold on. In Japan, did anyone know Just for Us?
No.
Okay.
No, it was devastating. Imagine if they're like, I'm like, Sumimasen, do you know, sorry, comedian, big Jew, but like, it was so rural, but it was really, really cool to be away from everything. And when I was there, stand-up was still in my brain. I was still like writing little notes down and, you know, thinking when something would happen, I'm like, oh, that'll make a good joke, or that could be the basis for a good joke, or like a good story. Like I had lots of like sublime experiences, and I'm like, well, maybe that will make its way into stand-up at some point. So like, I guess to answer your question, when I take something on, I really go away for a distinct period of time to work on it. And stand-up sort of occupies the rest of the time.
Someday when you have children, what will you do?
I think about that all the time. I'm not kidding. I think about that
course.
all the time. It's a full-time job. It's 24 hours a day. It seems really difficult.
Yeah.
So like,
unless you're my dad.
Yeah. Someone asked me the other day, they went, will there ever be, I was moderating a panel on AI.
Yeah.
And it's on Audible now. It's about like, he wrote Contagion, Scott, the guy Scott. And and when COVID happened, they were like, do you want to do a Contagion too? And he asked AI to help him. Like he asked this dystopian thing to help him make this other dystopian thing. Yeah. And he chronicled it in a podcast. And someone was like, question for the moderator, will there ever be an AI stand-up comedian? I'm like, well, how is AI going to be neglected by their parents? Like, how is that?
You know what's funny is I was on Marin recently. He pointed out his dad was a doctor. Your dad was a doctor. My dad was a doctor. Conan's dad was a doctor.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
There's
a lot of doctor parents in this comedy space.
But it's so funny because they think of like my dad, when I did Conan, he called me. He's like, you did Dr. O'Brien's son's show. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, the epidemiologist, Tom O'Brien. I was like, do you know him? He's like, not well, but he's a really good doctor.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, his son is Conan O'Brien. He was like, yeah, no, his dad's like an amazing epidemiologist. Like, it was so funny because
he knows
was
what's
like,
important.
Yeah, but 1,000%.
Yeah.
He's so serious about
You're
it.
like, Dad, what do you think of the masturbating bear? He's like, well, what does it have to do with epidemiology? A lot.
Well, it's actually good for you.
Exactly.
Yeah, a really amazing way to distract bears. You know,
Right,
probably.
absolutely. Yeah.
But it's hysterical because he does see things sometimes through the, like, it's like there's a medical geography or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
He'll be like, oh, Alex, you know this comedian? I'm like, yeah, why? He's like, well, his father's a cardiologist at a hospital in Seattle. Like, they genuinely, like, their field is so important to them.
It's almost like they care about medicine.
Yeah. It's nice of them to save lives when we ruin them, you know? Like,
I don't think we ruined them.
No.
We're doing all right.
Yeah.
So you prioritize things by like breaking off, going away, coming back, etc. How do you feel, since your director Adam Brace died, in relation to art, not just as a friend, but artistically? Like, where are you with that?
Some days it's like the only thing I want to talk about, which is weird. Also, some days I think I'm like past it, and then something will happen, and I'll just like not be able to get anything done, or it's all I'll think about, or I'll get angry. Honestly, I'll be like, oh my God, I need him more than ever. He's not here. Like, it's also, it's not easy to like audition replacements because he was my oldest friend too. So it's like not an easy thing to get into. And also the truth is, I don't like own his death, which is like, he worked with lots of comedians. He worked with a really brilliant performance artist who was also his long-term girlfriend, Becca Fuller. And they're touring a show, which I haven't been able to see yet because they've only done in the UK, about Adam passing away. And it's made its way into good work by Ahir Shah and Ivo Graham and Alfie Brown, who are 3 comics that he worked with, and Janine Haruni, who I really love. And it's like, it's hard because on one hand, there's a craft element that I miss so much. And the other hand, there's a friendship element that I miss so much. And then there's the blending of the two, which is, you know, the best thing in the world is getting to be creative with someone you really like being in a room with. Yeah. Where the thing you're working on is kind of an excuse. To like obviously you and Timbers were really big parts of my show, but also like part of the show was kind of an excuse to spend a lot of time with Mike Birbiglia and Alex Timbers, because like two people I really like. And like, that's a good way to spend your life, which is being collaborative with people that you really enjoy. It's like a really good time. Yeah. And so I miss so much the result of that work, but even more, I miss the process of it. Like, it's just not, I miss the fun of like playing ping pong creatively with Adam. Sure. And so that's difficult. I'm sort of like, I'm picking myself up though a little bit, and like it's not as hard now as it was like a year ago. Yeah. But I'm slower out of the blocks than I would have been, and I'm trying really hard not to like punish myself for that.
What is, like through that lens, what is your big picture goal? What's the thing where you go, yes, it's enough, but what I really want is this very big, broad thing?
I'd like to be more ambitious aesthetically in my comedy. Like, I'd also love to create work that I'm like, okay, I really did the most with that. Like 700 Sundays, you know, Billy Crystal's show?
Yeah, for sure.
You're like, oh, that's a full meal. That's a full thing. That's like done. And some of the Spalding Gray shows and your shows, you're like, that can't have any more. But like, when I look at Just For Us, if I'm being honest, I'm happy, so happy with what it got to be. But like, it still feels a little sophomoric to me. There's still a very specific narrative exoskeleton. Like, something happens and the thing progresses and there are some offshoots. But like, I'd really love to make stuff that's like, that's a little more like you or like Kitson-esque. Do you know Daniel Kitson, the
course,
great?
yeah.
Of course. So like, I'd love to be making really great stuff that is a clear, huge artistic leap from where I was.
Yeah.
And some days I can't see that happening.
Yeah.
And also it'd be nice to do things in different mediums. Like I'd really love to write a musical at some point.
Yeah.
I'd really love to like write a television show. I'd really love to like make a movie and have that same feeling, which is like, oh my God, I've artistically progressed in every way from one to the other. That would be like a huge thing, because all the other stuff, like the career stuff, that'll all be like good byproducts of those things.
Yeah.
And like, if everyone can watch a thing and go, oh, that guy was really thorough with that, that feels like a really, you know, that's how you make a like pretty, that's how you continue to make a pretty decent living and grow your fan base, I think.
This is the slow round. What is the most embarrassing video that gets served in your algorithm?
I somehow watch a lot of baseball highlights, but
That's not embarrassing, but I get what you mean.
But it's like too many. Like it's like every second video on TikTok will also be like the top 10 no-hitter saving outfield plays of all time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, why do I do this? And then I watch all the way through and I'm like, I can't believe I keep getting served these.
It's crazy because you and I both grew up Boston sports fans. When you live in Massachusetts, you have, I feel like, no conception of that there are other players on other teams.
Oh yeah, totally.
Like I grew up in the 80s and 90s on the Red Sox just going like, Mike Greenwell is one of the greatest baseball players of all time.
Dwight Evans.
And then you get older and you're like, oh, no one knows who Mike Greenwell is.
He was a backup. Like he was like a bridge shortstop before they got Garcia Parra. Like it wasn't a good.
I remember when he won a pickup truck.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. He won a pickup truck because there was like a Toyota event. And then they were like, if this person hits a home run tonight, we're going to give him a pickup truck. And like, and then I always heard the story that like you'd see Mike Greenwell drive away from the game every night in the fucking pickup truck. And I was like, that's a great story. What a happy ending. It's like, how many baseball players, they don't get the real money? It's like, well, that guy got the truck.
That's so funny. That's so fun. I also love when they give the Super Bowl MVP a car and you're like, it's Tom Brady. He has a car.
Right. Mike Greenwell didn't.
It's like when Tom Brady won the Super Bowl MVP the year they played the Seahawks, they gave him the truck. He's like, I'm going to give it to the rookie that made the interception in the end of the game that really won the game. Because that guy doesn't have a car. He's like, I have my Lamborghini Bentley hybrid. I don't need it.
All right. I want someone put in the comments if anyone knows whether Mike Greenwell still drives the truck. Does he still drive the pickup truck? But like, yeah, in that era, I'm like, Marty Barrett is one of the best players on the planet.
Oh my God, Wade Boggs.
Yeah, Wade Boggs.
Who was legitimately, I think, a Hall of Famer.
Oh, was he
definitely a Hall of Famer?
Okay.
But he went in as a Tampa Bay Ray for the first ever one.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
That's your algorithm. Who are you jealous of?
Bo Burnham is like a peerless genius to me. I don't know him well, and I don't think I know many people that know him well. But like, I don't know him. I've met him a handful of times, but to me, that guy is really like.
Who are you jealous of that you thought of but didn't say?
Who am I jealous of that I thought of and didn't say? I won't say his name because he's not an entertainment figure, but he's a friend from childhood, and he lives in Boston, has a couple of kids, goes to the Patriots every Sunday, is Orthodox Jewish, loves going to shul, and every time I see him, he's like, "You still doing comedy?" And this guy is like the happiest person I know.
Oh, wow.
And he's just like totally opted out of everything.
Right.
Like totally, and is so happy.
Yeah.
And is such a sliding doors thing for me where sometimes I'm like, man, if I could just be this guy I went to high school with.
Yeah.
And like not be on like a merry-go-round trying to like meet some imaginary goalpost.
Yeah.
To like heal myself. Like.
Well, that's your problem. You're supposed to kick it through the goalpost. You don't have to meet it.
I meet it helmet first and keep going into
I don't think you understand the game.
Oh, no.
You gotta kick it through the goalpost.
Yeah. So I bite the goalpost.
No, you don't bite the goalpost.
No, you're supposed to bite the goalpost.
Oh, that's a real thing? Okay.
No. You're right. What else in the slow round?
All right. Who's someone from your childhood who you haven't forgiven?
Oh my God. There was a bully whose name I also won't say, but he was really, really.
What did he do to you?
I was working at the Red Sox. I had a job at the Red Sox, and this guy would literally, like, if he passed me in the hallway, he would like push me, and I was always like, "What do you know? What?" And he went to Harvard. This guy.
He pushed you at the Red Sox?
He would push me at work.
Oh,
there was a
wow.
guy who was like a child. I was like 15 years old. This guy was like 19 or 20, and he would like push me to the ground. It was like a really.
Which, by the way, when you're 15, feels like an age. It feels like that person's like 40 years old.
It was crazy
when they're 19.
He had facial hair.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I wasn't growing facial hair till like my mid-20s.
5 days ago.
Yeah. I still can't do it. It comes in patchy. But yeah, that guy I can never forgive, and I Google him occasionally.
Oh, wow.
I don't know what he's up to. He's very not a huge internet footprint, but you know.
Have you ever been punched in the face?
Yeah, but never hard enough. That's what someone said about me. They've been punched in the face a lot, but never hard enough. Not in a long time, but when I played ice hockey as a kid, I got punched all the time.
Do they do full punches in hockey?
Oh yeah,
Really?
full punches.
But it's not legal, right? It's only
No, it's not legal,
fights.
but it's forgiven in the fights.
In
yeah.
the fights.
But I would get punched a lot. I also like occasionally do boxing.
Yeah.
Where I'm
do
just
you
like-
really?
Yeah, but I have this
The
thing
gear,
on.
yeah.
But it's like there's this gym I go to sometimes in Chicago whenever I'm there, and there's a guy named Jimmy Mango, real name I think. And Jimmy Mango, who's an amazing boxing coach, sometimes he'll be like hook, and I'll do it. And if I'm dropping my other hand, he'll go, and I'm like,
Yeah?
Jimmy,
Wow.
stop.
Could you, and if someone came at you, would you be able to hold your own in a fist fight?
I would say like yes, but the funny thing is it's not even knowing techniques, it's the presence of mind to be like, all right, keep your elbows here, because like if someone comes at you, you're just like
Yes.
like exactly. All your like training and thought goes like, you ever see a video, if you ever get served this in your algorithm of like a street fight, there are people there and they're like set and stuff like that, and I'm like, how do they remember? Because as soon as someone starts yelling at me and comes at me, I'm just like
I think that those people who are, what you're saying is like they're the more professional fighters in those situations. I think they're thinking about the fights all the time.
oh, that's
They're
really
imagining
smart.
the world is a fight at all times.
Oh, they're so
and it
excited.
isn't, of course, but when it happens, they're fucking ready.
They're a condition red immediately. They're at DEFCON 5 just walking around the mall.
And by the way, I want to do it. I want to, like, particularly like jujitsu, a few of those ones where it's really tactical and you can like take people who are bigger than you technically.
Yeah.
I that's what I want to get involved with.
One of the people that I'm in the Office spinoff with, Ramona Young, she is a martial artist. And so every day on set, I'd be like, can you show me one move? And she was always like, okay, you put this here. You put one hand here, and then one hand here, and then you do this, and then it would be the worst pain I've ever felt. Like, it would just,
Oh my God, really?
This,
Like,
you know,
like
petite
3
lady,
moves. Do
and
this,
she's
do
like,
this.
or she'd be like, she put one hand here, and then one hand here, and then somehow turn it in a very natural
my
direction. I'd be
gosh.
like,
and she's probably smaller than you.
much a foot, like
my
tiny,
God.
like,
No
and
way.
it was like.
That's what I want. I want what Ramona has. I need
mean,
Ramona to give me lessons.
That's what Ramona Young, who is a really great actor, is like. It was really astounding.
And is not available for lessons.
No,
No,
maybe
she's absolutely not available.
depends
for
how
lessons.
well our show goes. You know.
Well, tell me, can you say anything about the show?
Sure. Donald Gleason is sort of
Just read me the talking points from the internet.
okay.
That's
I mean,
because
I could.
that's what people want.
No. I'll try to give you something that's not without violating an ironclad NDA.
We want a headline on Vulture.
Yeah, I mean, Donald's like a big, like he's a really amazing dramatic actor, and I've done some acting in movies, but it's all with like comedians or television, and it's always with and Donald's like a big, heavy, anchoring presence, and so sometimes you're sat in a room with him, and you can feel the reality of him doing his job, and you're just like, okay, well, I guess I have to contend as best I can, but also Tim Key, who's a stand-up comic from England that I worship, who is in the show. And when they were talking about him joining the show, it was like, oh God, please, like he's so good. But he would always, it was so hard to be in scenes with him because he would always talk his lines closer and closer to me.
Oh yeah.
So I was trying hard to not break because like, you're saying your lines back and forth and they're funny. And then like, it's, like you can feel the heat of his breath or something like that. And you're just like, man, or he'd reach out to touch you and then almost touch you. And it's just so hysterical and jarring that like, I would sometimes have to like pinch my hand to stop from laughing.
Yeah.
Like he's so good. So yeah, like we had some really big Sabrina Impacciatore, who's on White Lotus. She tells Jennifer Coolidge she looks like Peppa Pig, if you remember that. Yeah,
sure.
And is like, she is really funny and big. And now this big, well-kept secret that is now no longer a secret at all. Oscar Nunez from the previous Office.
Oh yeah, I love Oscar.
He's on the show. And Oscar was very good about never being like, well, in the previous Office we did
sure.
XYZ. Because if I was on the previous Office, I'd be like, we did XYZ. But it was really in-depth. We wrote a lot of drafts of episodes. It was really difficult. It was fantastic. And like, I think it came out pretty well.
That's
like,
great.
I haven't seen like Greg Daniels and Michael Coleman, the guys that are running it.
Yeah.
And Greg's like a legend who's done it.
Greg did The Office.
He did The Office, Parks and Rec, Beavis and Butthead, King of the Hill. Like he is a genius.
He was like who wrote with Conan O'Brien on SNL in the 80s.
I think it was his roommate. I think he was Conan's roommate when they moved to New York, and like was a Lampoon guy. I think is like Greg,
the writing legend.
He's really, really thorough, and and if something doesn't work, he's like, no, and it doesn't matter what stage of the process it's in. He's like, this doesn't work, or it doesn't work anymore. Let's start from like. And it was really, like, I love thorough. The
That's
best
great.
people are thorough.
I love
like,
that.
Let's hope it gets good. Let's hope it gets received well. I
would guess that it'll be great. Let's see. Can you remember a roommate you've had in your life who was particularly good or bad?
Oh yeah, Nathaniel Jeffrey was my roommate in rabbinical seminary in Israel, and we were like...
You were in rabbinical seminary? Like you were...
So you take a year... So it's common for modern Orthodox Jews to take a year off between high school and college and go and study Torah in Israel. I'd say like 80% of my high school class did it.
Please say it the American way?
Oh, what'd I say? Yeshiva? Torah?
You said Torah.
Torah?
You gotta say it like me.
Torah.
Torah.
Yeah, we studied Torah.
Or say it the Boston way. Torah.
Torah. Yeah, my
Dude,
God.
don't forget your Torah.
Torah. Oh my God, it sounds like door by the end.
Keep going. So you're in rabbinical school.
But yeah, Jeff or Nathaniel, as he went by then. I remember there was not to be serious, there was like a terrorist attack at another school. And we went to the funeral together. And it was really intense, obviously, because like it was the Israeli-Palestinian conflict in like a microcosm because... or an aspect of the conflict in a microcosm, and that like we're at this funeral and the mayor of Jerusalem gets up. There are 8 kids who have been killed, and he talks about like the need for like calm and the need for like figuring out a productive way forward. And then someone got up and started screaming about like revenge, and I was like, oh, this is why it keeps happening. This is this cycle of violence. And I just remember being there with Jeff.
They were killed while you were there?
Not at the school, but we were maybe a 20-minute walk away.
Wow.
It was a really crazy. We were out the night before when the attack happened because Jews bury so quick. Like they were killed Thursday night. The funeral was Friday morning. Jeez. It was like it was nuts. It was between the funeral and the incident, 12 hours maybe. And so going with Jeff to this thing on a Friday and us feeling really, really a certain way afterwards and processing. I remember a lot of, walking, getting on the bus, the song that was playing on the bus, people on the bus in a certain mood. And yeah, Jeff was there with me, and we went to this thing together, and I just like, maybe it's just because of that one memory, because I've had a bunch of really great roommates.
Do you have any
Sorry,
more?
so heavy. Sorry, such
No,
a
no, it's okay. It's sad though. It's
Yeah.
just, what a sad story. I didn't know. I've known you for so many years. I never heard that story.
I don't talk about it much, but it was a really sobering, like event. And the funny thing is, it didn't. This is really wading into tricky waters, but like, it didn't make me more like Zionisty. Like, it made me more thoughtful about the way the conflict works.
Yeah.
Because like, imagine that happens on the, imagine that happens to the other side too.
Yeah.
And it was a really, really, it just like, I think it actually just changed it made it much realer for me in a way that was really, really difficult and complicated.
Yeah.
And like, I've never, I don't think I've ever written.
Would you ever talk about it in a show?
I've talked about, I have a recurring dream that stems from that
Yeah.
I talk about in the show, but I've never found a way to make that part funny. And I don't think I've ever tried.
Yeah.
I wrote about it in a college essay.
Yeah.
And I got a B on the essay.
Yeah.
And I was like, maybe I'm not ready to talk about this because I'm
yeah.
getting a B on the essay.
Yeah,
it's
doing
not
it
that
quite
well
right.
written.
Yeah. Yeah.
I respect the person who gave me the B, because I'm sure I checked it a couple of years ago and I was like, this is pretty sophomoric, and I was a freshman and it's still sophomoric. But yeah, it's one of those things, like when I say my ambitions are to like get to a place artistically, like some comics can talk about almost anything on stage and it works. And then there are some comics who think they can talk about almost anything on stage and it's horrible. So like getting to a point where you actually can talk about like grief, loss, huge geopolitical issues, shrunk down to a traumatizing memory, like those are really high skill things.
Do you have any new jokes?
I've got a bunch of new jokes. I love jokes. But how about you go first?
No, jokes. Remember last time you
Oh.
had like kids jokes?
Oh my God.
Because you're one of my only guests who has good jokes.
Oh my God. A joke is, so this guy's walking down, I've embellished it slightly with jokes and
Yeah.
with other details. This guy's walking down the side of a highway
Yeah.
and he sees a tent, and outside the tent's a sign that says, "Come see the amazing Walter." And he's like, oh boy. And he goes in and it's dimly lit. There are like a couple people there, and Walter comes out in a bathrobe and he takes the bathrobe off and he puts 10 chestnuts on the table and he pulls out his penis and he smashes each of the chestnuts. And then he bows and he leaves, and the guy goes like, that was weirdly like one of the best things I've ever seen. And he goes back the next day and there's no tent and there's no sign. And he like 15, 20 years go by and he can never find, he goes on the internet, he looks for it, he asks people about it who are sort of in like the live space. No one's heard of this. And then one day he's walking through like Pier 31 in San Francisco and he sees a sign that says, "Come see the amazing Walter." And he's like, oh my God, it's like the same guy. Maybe? And he goes into the tent, same lighting, same setup, table, dimly lit. And like Walter comes out and it's definitely the same guy. But it's 20 years later. So his hair is like a little thin and he's got a bit of a paunch, and he takes off the bathrobe. This time he puts 10 coconuts on the table, and then he pulls out his penis and he smashes each one of the coconuts, and he bows and he leaves. And the guy's like, I'm not letting him get away this time. So he waits outside the tent. And Walter comes out like a hoodie, backpack, and a baseball hat. He's like, Walter. The guy's like, yeah. And he's like, I saw you by the side of a highway in like Mississippi like 20 years ago. And the guy's like, oh yeah, those are good shows. And he's like, but back then you were using walnuts and now you're using coconuts. So like, what? What's the? And Walter goes, listen, my eyesight's not what it used to be.
Wait, I don't even know if I get it. I don't even know if I get it. My eyesight's not what it used to be.
My eyesight's not what it used to be.
Because it used to be walnuts.
And now it's coconuts. And it's not the capability.
That's really funny. Oh, that's good.
It's a swing and a miss. The internet will eat me alive for this, but I love the joke so much.
My eyesight's not what it used to be.
Listen, my eyesight's not what it used to be.
That's funny.
People on the internet's like, this motherfucker is the unfunniest
I like
motherfucker
it.
on the
I
planet.
like it. I like it.
Sorry.
All right, hit me with some jokes. Are you working on new jokes?
Yeah, you first.
This is a really quick one. After a really bad breakup in my 20s, I called my mom and she goes, "You're not going to find another one like her." And I go, "Mom, how about this week we root for the home team?" I I just dug that up from the notebook.
That's really funny.
I wrote that in my 20s.
That's really
but
funny.
I never did it in anything, and I was like, that actually is a pretty fun little vignette.
How about this week we root
How
for
about
the
this
home?
week we root for the home team?
That's really funny. Listen, with allies like these,
Yeah, exactly.
or with fans like these,
I know.
that's really good. Hold on.
My mom is always, that is like my mom in a nutshell. Even though she's a great mom, her inclination is always like hesitant. Maybe it's like an Irish thing or something. Her inclination is always like, well, might not be great, which is, as a comedian, it's a hard thing because there's a lot to say that about.
Also,
when you're starting out as a comic,
the truth is, you want to be like, really? Are you in the dating scene right now?
Yeah.
Are you out
there?
You out there meeting everyone?
Yeah. And then I had this, which is in my 20s, I had a temp job at a fashion magazine where I typed statistics into a spreadsheet. That was the whole job. And when I started asking my boss questions about it, she goes, "It doesn't matter. You can just make up the statistics." True story. And that's when I decided to become a comedian. I was like, if we're just going to all go rogue with creative license, I'd rather get some laughs than sit in this cubicle and be by far the ugliest person in the office. Yeah.
That's really funny. Hold on. Where else could you go from there?
It might be a chunk of things about temping.
What else was working in that
era? Because I worked at Fashion Magazine. I worked at Pfizer. I worked at, like a whole bunch of, I worked at BlackRock.
No
I was
way.
A temp. Yeah. I had this whole year where I worked at these really high-end New York City places, and I would be the receptionist. I'd be the switchboard operator. I would be the data entry person. And what was amazing about that experience of just temping in these places, like I remember one job at Pfizer where I did nothing all day, literally nothing. And at the end of the day, this guy who I worked for goes, "Can we get you next week? You're the best guy we've had." I've literally done nothing.
I mean, what they wanted was par.
Apparently.
Yeah. They wanted to do no harm.
I know. They look at me as harmless and just kind of like,
you're the best
he'll
guy we've
be
had.
around.
Maybe it was your vibe. Maybe they were like,
Yeah, they like my vibe.
Yeah.
Apparently.
I think that's fantastic. I was a copywriter. I had an ad agency, but I remember I wrote something about it a couple of years ago where it was like everything they wanted that was crazy derivative. I'd be like, "Have milk," and they'd be like, "That's perfect."
That's funny.
Yeah. It was like the exact opposite of
It's funny. I'm thinking back to that job where they were like, "You're doing a good job," and I didn't do anything. I think sometimes at jobs, they don't want you to do anything.
No.
It's like they just don't want you to talk. They know they need somebody, but they would prefer that person didn't talk.
Also, I hate to be serious, but the truth is, sometimes you just need you there in case something happens.
Yeah.
And they're like, if we need something, we'll come to you.
That's
and
right.
Other than that, we don't want you
Like,
showing any sort of initiative or ambition.
Exactly. We don't want you coming for our job.
Exactly. And I bet you previous people at Pfizer, they were like, "Can we help with anything?" And they're like, "Shut the fuck up."
That's right.
You know?
Yeah.
We make the cold medication the way we want to make the cold medication.
That's right.
Let me think. I've got just because we were talking about this earlier, people are like, "Oh, your parents, do they wish you were a doctor or a lawyer?" And I say to the audience, "You guys have known me for 10 minutes. Do you wish I was a doctor or a lawyer?"
That's funny.
I was like, "Do you wish I was your doctor or lawyer?"
Yeah.
Do you want me looking at your x-rays or being like, I had a client who like got caught for littering. He'd face the death penalty. Like,
right.
I would really,
you could put it in relation to like how tangential you are as a comedian. Like, so like my doctor was looking at my x-ray, and then in the middle of it, he talked about paper towels for 15 minutes.
yeah. Or I had this idea that it was like, where if me as a doctor, where it's like after surgery, the patient wakes up, I'm like, "Hey, I decided to like riff a little bit once I got in there."
Yeah.
I was like, "So here's your liver." Like, it looked weird, so I took it out.
Yeah.
Or like, also this x-ray, you have a glioblastoma, but it kind of looks like a seahorse. You see? Isn't that kind of interesting?
I like
If
that.
You draw an eye here and a thing here.
Yeah,
It's a little
yeah.
like seahorsey.
Yeah.
And someone asked my dad, do you wish he was a doctor? And instead of saying, no, we're proud of him, my dad went, he did the best he could with what he had. Which is so even-handed and also kind of nice, but truly like root for the home team a little.
Yeah, root for the. How about we root for this week? We root for the home team.
So funny.
You could have been a doctor, though.
You know, the funny thing is, I don't think so, because trial and error is such a big part of my job.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, this doesn't work. Also, like, even in my personal life, I'm still like figuring out who I am. That self-discovery can't happen as a doctor. I can't be like, what kind of doctor am I? You know, like,
right.
Am I still growing into medicine? You know?
Yeah. I follow what you're saying, but I think you could have done it probably.
Maybe.
I feel like the term outside the box has been hijacked by people definitively inside the box.
Great. Great. No, seriously, keep going.
These people who are shaped like boxes keep telling me, think outside the box. I'm like, I'm not the one with pointy edges and flat sides.
That's really good. That's really good. It's really, really metaphorical. Like, people that ask you to think outside the box, they're always yelling it at you from inside their boxes.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah. They're always yelling at you from inside their box.
Think outside the box. You're like, please, you're 90% corrugated. You know?
I can barely hear you. You're in the bottom corner of that box.
Yeah. Can I tell you one more thing?
Oh, yeah.
I was a hospital clown.
Oh,
for a while. That's
a good story.
It was my first comedy job. I was 18, and I walked into the hospital, and I'm dressed completely as a clown.
Yeah.
And the guy behind the desk went, "Are you the clown?"
That's really funny.
Swear to God. And he was smoking a cigarette. It was in Israel. It was community service. And he went, "Are you the clown?" And I was like, "Yeah." But how great would it have been if I was like, "No, there was a car accident with some of my compatriots and 75 of them are here."
Jesus. That's a crazy story. That you were a clown at a hospital.
I was a clown at a hospital.
Was it rewarding?
Yeah, there were some rewarding moments, but also I just remember them saying, like, don't touch any of the buttons in the rooms. And I was like, yeah, no, I know. There's no episode of Mr. Bean where he takes a kid off dialysis. Like, I'm aware that I'm not supposed to be like, boop, 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 boop.
Well, I think it's like it's an incredible service, the clowns at the hospital.
It's a really difficult job, though, because when you're bombing in front of a kid.
Yeah, there's a special type of pain that you're both experiencing.
Yeah, you're like, hey, I know this is extreme, but I would really rather be where you are than I am now.
Yeah.
But
I know you're going through some stuff, but I am too.
Once I went into the kid's room and he burst into tears, and the mom went, "Sorry, clowns are his biggest fear."
Oh God.
And I'm like, the kid had like one arm, and I was like, part of me was like, give me a try. Like, let me try my best. But the truth is, like, the ward was mostly an amputee ward. And I just remember kids were missing things. And there was one clown who was like in the hallway, because there were like 5 or 6 of us.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Helene, what's going on?" And she's like, "Most of the tricks I know are like, got your nose."
Okay.
And I'm like, and she's like, "I can't be taking more body parts off these kids."
Oh God.
Even as Joe, like, "Got your nose," and the kids are like, "Oh God."
I mean, that's a good joke.
Yeah. I just don't know. I don't know a ton about where it goes, but I'm working on this thing. And also, like,
I mean, I think honestly, if you did it as a bit, you would have to find a series of jokes, and then you'd have to, I think, land somewhere that's somewhat redemptive. Mm-hmm. I think you'd have to, because like kids in the hospital is as dark as can be, so it has to be somewhere.
Maybe it's about like everyone, not everyone, but it's a more common premise about laughter being the best medicine.
Yeah.
And like, I feel like it's everyone's premise in a way that I don't want to get into, where it's like, that's not true.
Right.
But like, I've seen laughter in a hospital ward. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's like palliative. It helps. It's not the best medicine.
No, it's pretty significant, I think. This is one I want to put on stage, which is I saw this lady pushing a baby in my neighborhood. And then she looks at her phone and she goes, "Play Itsy Bitsy Spider." And it played the wrong song. And then she goes, "Play Itsy Bitsy Spider, Walk Up the Water Spout." And I'm like, just sing the fucking song. You have the ingredients. It's like, you know what I should put in this soup? A laptop. That's my favorite new one. I want to try that on stage.
It's really funny. Just sing the song.
Sing the song.
You know the words.
Sing
or just go, Siri, what does the itsy bitsy spider come down from?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
People just don't want to sing, I guess.
Yeah. It's good that we've outsourced all the good artistic fun stuff to the machines.
Yeah, exactly.
So we can still do the pushing of the strollers, but not any of the singing.
That's right. Push the stroller.
We bit about Clippy being like AI in the past, and we hated him.
That's so funny.
Remember, we had
Clippy
AI.
the paperclip from Microsoft.
We had AI in 1995.
That's right.
And Clippy was like, "You look like you're writing a letter. Do you need help?" And we're like, "Shut the fuck up. I've got it."
I think that's great.
Like, and he would like, no, it's like, "You made a grammatical mistake." And we're like, "Get the fuck, can we shut him off? How do we shut this guy off?" And now we just absolutely, and now we're like, if Clippy was like, "Are you writing a letter?" We'd be like, "Write it for me."
Yeah.
How
do I format it? You know how to format it. Fucking format it. It's like, sorry, I didn't know.
I've got one about horse cops.
Okay.
It's I've been doing this bit about service dogs. I go, the level of service dog fraudery has got to be addressed now.
Uh-huh.
Like, we can no longer just like let it go. I used to be like 1 in 10 service dogs used to be fake, and now the ratio has flipped.
To what?
9 in 10.
Okay.
It's crazy. We're living in this like insane time, and you can tell because real service dogs are like the Marines. Like they're at the gate, they're waiting with their arms crossed.
Yes.
They're so annoyed they can't vape, and then the desk attendant is like, "Group 4 is boarding," and the dog is like, "That's us." And he's and like there's an ending to it that I'm still trying to figure out, but he goes, I go, "I respect any animal with a job."
Yeah.
Even cops, which everyone has complicated feelings about. I respect horse cops so much.
Yeah.
And I was telling my friend, you know, a lot of horse cops in Central Park today. And he went, "What do you mean horse cops?" And I said, What do you mean horse cops? A cop on a horse, because there's no like centaur situation.
Yeah.
Where stop and frisk is even more problematic, where the guy's like, hey, get over here. Oh shit. Let's sprinkle some sugar cubes on him and gallop the fuck out of here, you know? But so I'm still working it out, but it's
Wait,
like,
so the point at which he goes, "What do you mean horse cops?"
yeah.
You're saying like, no, the horse, the cop who's on the horse.
Yeah.
Not the horse.
But I don't know what he meant, but I just love being able to say, "What do you mean? What do you mean?"
What do you mean? What do you
What do
mean?
you mean? What do you mean? He's like, "What do you mean horse cops?" I'm like, "What do you mean? What do you mean horse cops?"
I'm curious, genuinely, and I think it's a really funny joke, but genuinely, I'm curious what he thought.
He told me he thought it was cops who were there to police the horse and carriages in Central Park.
Benj.
And I was like,
way off.
No, bud.
Well, that's way off.
He was like,
and then what did you mean? Precisely.
I meant cops on horses.
Cops on horses.
I meant the whole unit.
But then there's the horse itself.
The horse itself.
So what is the horse itself? It's a horse cop in a certain way, right?
You're right. The logic of my argument is crazy.
You know
flawed.
what I mean?
You're correct.
Like, the horse is a cop. The horse is a cop. The horse cop is a cop also.
How do you differentiate between the two parts of the unit?
I don't know. But
One
it
is
isn't a centaur. You're
the
correct.
top
that it's
half
not a
and the
centaur.
bottom half.
Yeah.
But you can also always tell who's equipped to be what. You never see the top half you never see the horse riding the cop.
I wonder because I think there's a lot here, by the way. I think like horse cops as a topic, I think you should go deep on, because it's an outrage that there are horse cops.
But also,
it makes no sense.
You
it is
say
like
that
from the 1800s.
You say that, but I remember I was in college and I was part of like there was a protest that I was at on the southern end of Washington Square Park, and they lined up. There was like one horse cop, and I was like a hysterical horse cop, and then there were 2 horse cops, and then there were 3 horse cops, and then I was like, okay, now I'm scared. Like, they were all lined up, and I'm like, if they charge us, we're done.
Yeah, but if you blow in the horse's ear, you've got the advantage.
Yeah, we all had carrots. That's
I just think I think horse cops all day for this. I would just go off on that.
It's so funny.
It feels like of such a different era. I'm trying to think of another thing from a different era that you could bring in as an example.
Yeah, you know the NYPD catapults that they use for
right.
gun control?
That's what I'm saying.
It's so anachronistic. You're right.
Yeah. Catapults, moats.
Yeah.
How about when the horses have the little eye blinders on the side? Because if that horse could see the whole world, they would flip the fuck out.
Also,
they would be like, "We're doing what?"
But they also need.
They're like, "We're doing what?" They'd be like, "This is unethical."
The one inside, yeah, they have them there for plausible deniability.
Yeah, that's right.
So when the horse is called to testify, he's like, "I only saw half of the story."
That's right. Even the horses know some of the policing is questionable. They got blinders on the side because the cops are like, he can't see all of this.
Yeah. But they also don't know certain facts about the world. Like they're in, and they're like, I swear to God, Columbus is a circle. Like, no, it's just one street. Yeah. It's like, no. If you look this way, then you see it's a big circle.
Bridie's not going to be able to handle it if he sees how we're treating people.
That's so
I think the horse cop thing all day.
Oh my gosh.
I would just go all day on that.
The pensions that they get. You ever go to a horse cop bar out there in Syosset? They're, just full of like retired horse cops.
Also, can we just talk about like the salary for the horses? Are the horses receiving any salary? And when I say salary, I don't mean currency, but I just mean like anything. Treats? Are they getting treats? I'm not convinced, based on some of the ethics of the cops, that the horses are getting treats.
I think there are tips that are slid in there to make them look the other way.
Little bribes.
The horse bribes. Hey, if you want out of this parking ticket, a couple of apples might really make a difference,
Yeah.
I'm sure though someone's got to have a bit about like a horse getting a parking ticket from a horse, or not getting a parking ticket, getting a speeding ticket from a horse cop. Like, hey, didn't you see me back there?
Here's my last one. When I was in Edinburgh, I got up at 5:30 a.m. to catch a flight back to America, and the Scottish taxi driver asked us whether we went to the festival, and we go, yeah, and he goes, my wife and I went to see a show, and there were 5 comedians, and 3 of them were good, and 2 of them were rubbish. And then he goes, and they knew they were rubbish. And then it just made me think, like, am I rubbish?
Oh my God.
And if I were rubbish, would I know I were rubbish?
You're not rubbish.
Yeah, but there's something about how mean-spirited that is. That the guy didn't just hate the comedians.
He hated their self-knowledge.
Yeah.
I appreciate a comic that knows they're rubbish, because that's going to be a good comic one day.
Yeah, totally. There's something about that really stuck with me. They knew they were rubbish.
Only job where that works, though, by the way.
And also the only city where taxi drivers kind of are comedy connoisseurs.
I was in Dublin, and I went to see Coldplay while I was in Dublin. And the guy's driving me to the Coldplay show, and he went, "Ugh, you seen Coldplay?" I went, "Yeah." He's taking me to the I went, "Yeah." He goes, "Ugh, they're shit, aren't they?" I'm like, I'm about to see Coldplay. I'm wearing my Coldplay T-shirt.
You know where I'm going.
The Chris Martin friendship bands or whatever the hell. Ugh, aren't they shit?
That is hilarious.
I do a last one.
Oh yeah, please.
There's an ambulance unit for Orthodox Jews called Hatsala, but they'll respond to anyone. But it's a bit of a
here.
Yeah, it's in
New York,
Brooklyn.
Okay,
but they'll respond to any call if they're the closest emergency unit.
Okay,
but like, I remember seeing this happen once. And it was like there was a car accident, and it was this, 2 people who were not Orthodox Jews. And one of them had a heart attack while he was driving. And he was on the sidewalk, and they were trying to coach him through deep breaths, and a paramedic was there. And I was like, if I had a heart attack and I was by the side of the road and an ambulance pulled up and 5 ultra Orthodox Jews piled out of the ambulance, I'd have a second heart attack.
Yeah,
I'd be like, I'm hallucinating. This can't be, it's nothing. It's a beautiful service, but it's so crazy as a concept.
Yeah.
Where there's a Orthodox Jewish only ambulance service.
Right.
And they have like payas and beards and yarmulkes.
Right.
And they're wearing scrubs and like ambulance EMT uniforms.
But maybe you've written this out, but it's like, what makes it stressful?
It's just a question you really have to answer but can't ask. It's just like, if you don't know this exists, you're like, why are they all Hasidic Jews?
Right.
Why is it like, does every Hasidic Jew do this? Is this a thing I don't know about Jews, that they have to be this? And the last thing is, I went to Japan for this long walk, and it wasn't silent, but you were supposed to only speak if it was a revelation for yourself or a gift you were offering someone else.
Okay.
So it was silent because I'm like, what am I doing? And there was one person on this thing who was both confidently wrong about everything and a little bit conservative. And it felt very RFK Jr. too, because they were very big into auras. And at one point, the place we were in is called the Key Peninsula. It got more rain than the Amazon. And we were discussing it, and someone went, it's a shame the Amazon's disappearing. And very confidently, she went, it's not disappearing. And I went, what do you mean? And she went, it's the biggest company in the world. And then I struggled to think of a gift or a revelation.
Right. The last thing we do is working out for a cause. Is there a nonprofit that you like to contribute to?
How about Sloan Kettering?
Oh yeah, Sloan Kettering is a great organization that does cancer research, and we've given to them in the past. I've done benefits for them in the past through Nick Kroll and his family, and I think they're fantastic. We will we'll give to Sloan Kettering, and we will link to them in the show notes. And Alex Edelman, crushing.
Thank you for having me on.
Doing great work.
Really
love working jokes out with you.
Oh,
and excited to see your Office show in the fall.
I'm really hoping it works and is received with as much enjoyment as it was made with. So I'm always so psyched to be on this. I can't believe I get to do it again and again. No, it's really phenomenal. Please cut out the parts that didn't work.
I'm going to cut out all
of my street jokes.
All of the parts where you said really disparaging things about Jesus, which I really don't appreciate, but we'll keep this part in. We'll take that part out. Thank you very much.
Thanks, man.